My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10-Minute Trades, and I teach people to trade futures. Please remember that all trades are for educational purposes, and it is possible to lose money trading futures, so please trade wisely, trade carefully. If you're watching us on YouTube, remember that streaming is delayed, okay? So just trade carefully. And if you are watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications so you know when we'll be here the next time. Okay. So good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Good, Gregory. Okay, thank you. So this is a double report. Advanced GDP with the jobs numbers. I like advanced GDP as a report by itself. It doesn't have a full DMM right now because it's trading with whatchamacallit. It's trading with Thursday claims. Okay, let me just do a quick look for something. So much news. These new strains are so transmissible. Please be careful out there. The French government is saying that they're seeing a tremendous amount of virus spread. But they don't seem to be fatal. I mean, more fatal at the moment. Bear with me. I'm looking for something real quick to see if I can find something interesting. I'm not sure if I have it. So we have Thursday claims with advanced GDP. We'll have natural gas today. We have a 7-year note auction. So there's a bunch of trades today. Keep us busy. Thursday claims. October was Thursday. July was Thursday. April. See, it hasn't advanced GDP virtually. The April trade almost doesn't count as a test because it was so early in the beginning of the world crisis that I'm not so sure that you could trust the markets back in April. We're not able to trade gold in April. It's interesting. I wrote in my notes the first day that the world crisis began. I don't have the date in front of me right this second. It was the very end of February. It was close. It was February 24th. It's February 24th. That's when I thought that I noticed that the markets were being heavily affected by virus news. All right, last quarter, advanced GDP traded with the jobless claims, and we were trading, let's see, we were watching gold, I believe, and trading the ES. And that's partly because we were trading the ES on jobless claims. Now remember, I don't make the reports. My boss makes the reports with input. In other words, it's not like he just randomly throws reports out there. I send him reports every week of what happened in the trade room. So you could see that the jobless numbers came out early and advanced GDP came out late. Actually, this was preliminary GDP, it looks like to me. They call that advanced. You have advanced, final. Maybe I'm wrong. Flash. But it was a no trade, which is shocking. But also, it was ES. It was what happened in the beginning of the world crisis was that regular news was heavily overshadowed by world news, and regular reports that we were used to having explode were not being very, what's the word I'm looking for? Impactful. So there's a bunch of extra news on this. You have consumer spending, wholesale inventories. Canada building permits. So there's risk associated with this report because of extra news. Okay, so keep that in mind. Whenever there's extra news, it creates extra risk. Extra news, extra risk. So my son absolutely wants to kill me. Mark Cuban is on. I like Mark Cuban. I think he usually has interesting things to say. I wanted to hear what he said about GameStop. All this stuff with these stocks. So my son had bought AMC, and I said that I would be concerned about holding it overnight. I basically said that I would sell it overnight. I wouldn't want to hold any of these super explosive stocks overnight because you don't know what's going to happen unless you're willing to lose all the money in the account, or you could have the broker freeze the account. The brokers hate this because the regular market people are losing money. And when that happens, you know what that means is when the little retail guy has found something that's making them money and the big guys, the regular customers are losing, there's always a worry that someone's going to step in and do something, right, to hurt the little guy. So I told my son, I said, I just would be extremely careful if you're going to keep it. I would not keep it. So he sold it. I mean, he usually does what he wants to do anyway. He thinks I'm an idiot. It's a bracket of 6 this morning. He totally thinks I'm an idiot, for real. And of course, it was up when he woke up this morning, and he basically called me an idiot, told me he wanted to kill me. Target of 8, target of 15, stop of 12. So there is risk in this report. I'm trading it, but but there is risk. I mean, I think GDP is going to be up. I think basically the news should probably be good on the good side. But look, folks, we never know. So, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud, really. So we've got one target for 8 ticks, one target for 15 ticks, a stop of 12.
Hey, Mark, would you feel any differently about this if the crowdsourcing that was taking place was kind of taking a bear turn on this and sticking shorts after people?
No, not at all. I mean, to me, when someone shorts a stock that I own, it's a beautiful thing, right? Because if the company does well, then they're going to have.
I'm just looking at this activation time.
Of course, there's certain circumstances where the company's trying to do a secondary or raise money, and that diminishes their ability to do that. Now makes it a bad thing. But more often than not, if I always look at it and
it's not. It's his money.
I'm trying to invest in this company.
I think it should be. I like 830.
Your point on what the regulators need to address is an interesting one. This idea of having a longer holding.
So the DMM calls for 829.59.
What sort of things do you think they should be looking after?
829.59.
I haven't given it a lot of time, so I don't have a good answer for you. But we have to decide what we want in our market. Do we want this just to be this is just a very liquid market, and here are the rules, and whatever comes along, we deal with it? Or do we want
regular account?
And you do that through the restrictions, right?
So my concern with a 59 entry is getting filled before the news comes out, being on the wrong side of the news. Okay, that's my worry. Now, sometimes it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen all the time. So entry time 829.59, 10-second cancel, targets of 8 and 15, and a stop of 12. And there is risk on this report, like I said, because there's extra news. Okay, you've got Thursday claims. Now the problem is there is a possibility for mixed news here because the jobs reports have been on the negative side. Okay, the jobs reports have been on the negative side.
There were algorithms, balancing liquidity. I just don't think that matters, right? I don't think liquidity is the ultimate goal of a market or stock.
Mark, you just said we need to get back to investing.
Mark Cuban does know a lot about investing.
And then in the same breath, you're like, I really like what's going on here with this chat room stuff, running these things up 8,000%. I just don't see how you can say both. If we want to get back to that, just answering
I'm listening to the news, and the news, the world,
that stocks over time are a way of building wealth for your family and for your financial future.
It's like changing the rules in the NBA or the NFL.
It's like mind-boggling what's going on. It's absolutely mind-boggling. I don't know how everybody else feels. How do you feel out there? Yes, Gregory, I'm using the 10-second cancel because there's a lot of reports. Now, sometimes I might go 12, I mean, it's like, it's one of the issues that it's a very it's not as simple an issue as it appears, because there are some schools of thought that believe, well, should you cancel if you know the news hasn't come out yet? Or should you cancel 10 seconds, whether the news has come out or not? And I've discussed this at length with my boss, and he really believes you cancel at 10 seconds. That's the rule. That's the cancel. You cancel at 10 seconds. That's how he does it. Okay, so it's his system. He made the rules.
Sure bet for Trailblazers Rockets, Clippers Heat, Warriors Suns.
I feel now I've gotten him to extend some of the cancels, like on some of the bond reports. You know, if there's a report that shows a history of 10-second cancel is just too short, then it makes sense to extend the cancel. But sometimes, let's check our time again. Sometimes there are issues that never can be agreed upon, right? And that's part of life, and it's definitely a part of trading. Time.is, you know, there are issues that sometimes you never agree upon. So there is an interesting reversal area.
All our techs are pros. They know exactly which parking lots have the strongest signal.
Up here at the high of the day and the 6 p.m. open, right? If it's, let's check and make sure that it says use instrument settings. So the big numbers are the 4%, the 2.4%, and the jobless claims, 875.
On the house. Online casino is in good hands at BetMGM Casino.
Now gold, folks, is on 4, okay? Gold is on 4, right? It's rolled. Gold has rolled. How do I know? If you're using Ninja, you should get a notice, right? They tell you that gold has rolled. And when I check the daily volumes, it should be higher on 4. It should be higher by quite a bit. So let's see if it is. GC 221. Now, if you see, it's not even close. If you okay the rollover notice that Ninja sends, it erases, and you can check me on this, but I'm pretty sure it erases the previous contract. So I say no, then I check volume, then I make a decision whether or not I want to pick the correct contract. In other words, I listen to them, and it's a great heads up, right? It's a great heads up. I'm putting a reversal up there. Wasn't really in my plan to trade a reversal on this because there's too much news. But it doesn't hurt anything to put it up. You don't have to take it. And if you get what you think is a perfect scenario, it's nice to have it up there so that if you want to take it, you can, and be protected by your stops and your targets of the platform, right?
And Gramercy advisor and president of Queens College.
So I'm just putting a target of 15 on my reversal with a stop of 18. And it's like I said, it was not in my plan to take it.
What we're seeing with GameStop and some of these other stocks, Mohammed.
And it's clearly, that's why I labeled the trades, okay?
Look, there's 4 levels to this element.
So all the big shots are coming on the financial channel and they're saying, oh, this is all distorted and all, you know, crazy. And it is. I mean, there's no denying that this is what's going on in the markets. I don't know what it means. Is it a harbinger of something terrible? Is it just craziness, honestly, just because of the chatting and the social media, the amount of people in there? I mean, Elon Musk made it's Reddit, I believe, right? Elon Musk texted the location of all the chatting, and that like really upped the participation, because he's sort of a troublemaker, if you know what I mean. He likes to he's not a he's a maverick. I guess I'd call him a maverick type, if you know what I mean. So is anybody out there? Nobody's saying a word. It always makes me so uncomfortable when no one says a word. Are you listening to me? Does anyone disagree? I mean, you're allowed to disagree with me. You're allowed to call me out on things I say. I don't hold grudges, and I don't throw you out of the room unless your behavior is horrific. Can you all hear me? Somebody? Right, Liz. That's my worry. That's my worry. The hedge funds will get revenge. You think the regular market's going to let the little guy get away with this? No way, right? We're always the little guy.
You know, I've been talking, and I wrote a book about it in 2016. The only game we found is be careful about the unintended consequences of relying for too long just on central banks. And you talked about them, and that's why Chairman Powell didn't want to touch this yesterday. He did not want to go anywhere near this, okay? Because he knows that this is a really complex issue. And his hope is just hand off this.
One hedge fund had to borrow $2.9 billion to buy back GameStop. Oh my Lord! And my son called me an idiot. Right? I've seen it. Just to me, it feels like it's going to end badly somehow. That's what I worry. I don't want him to lose his investing money. I mean, it's not a ton of money, but I don't want him. I know he doesn't invest a lot, and I know he doesn't know what he's doing. And the funny thing is, sometimes you can take somebody who doesn't know what they're doing and they do so much better than a person that has no clue what they're doing. Chantal, would you remind me to Robinhood removes GameStop, AMC, puts notice on pages saying you can close out your position, but you can't purchase additional shares.
Capital or something like that. If enough of them need to liquidate good stuff, then the good stuff starts going down too.
Now, is that fair? Is that fair? I don't think so. Why should that be fair? If you were losing money, do you think they would do that? Heck no. Heck no. I just like saying the word heck.
and then you have a few stocks that go up. Behind that are people covering.
All that mess is not fair. Chantal, what do you mean? What do you mean?
The big question is, will the buy the dip mentality save? So people think this is yet another opportunity. I don't care about why it is that market has sold off. I'm just going to buy it. So keep an eye on this. It's going to be fascinating the next few days. But there are broader financial stability issues that we must not forget.
Should we all just take an armchair view of what's happening? Just watch everything that's happening? Or is there a government agency or
So,
that needs to?
another minute or so.
I mean, obviously monitor everything, but are there any type of circuit?
Our next room is new home sales, and we'll stay in there at 9:30 for natural gas also.
So first on the first one, just like we had a book on the flash crash a year ago, we're gonna have a book on this. This is
Oh, you don't think it's fair?
Small retail versus big hedge funds and what's behind all that. So on the second issue, you've heard me say this over and over again. Risk doesn't disappear. Risk used to be in the banking system. The banking system got regulated a lot more. The market started.
So is that fair? What they're doing? Is anything fair? Is the market fair? You know? Is it fair that AMP stopped us from trading oil when they maybe lost money? To protect themselves, it wasn't to protect us. People are grown-ups. I mean, we know the risks we want to take, right? We're allowed to make that decision.
Short selling, because one of the arguments around GameStop has been that 140% of the shares outstanding have been shorted, and people look at.
So it's a 10-second cancel. The news is not out, folks. My boss says cancel, so I'm canceling. The news is late. I would have stayed in. Okay, I would have stayed in. Right now, it's working. Keep in mind, the news didn't come out. The jobless numbers didn't come out. Nothing came out except minimal news. So a perfectly good trade is canceled because he told me the jobless numbers are good, so the market would go down, right? Now, where's advanced GDP? Watch the price action. Advanced GDP, I think, is going to be good, and the price is going to go down even more. So now you might have been stopped out, though, because you might have protected profit there, right? Here's the GDP. It's matching GDP, okay? Matching GDP news on the major news, and still waiting on the secondary news. Let's see. What's interesting is Juice has a different number. They're saying 4. Oh, no, sorry. 4 is right. But their forecast was different. Their forecast was 4.2. So look, this is pretty darn frustrating to me. There's the rest of the news. And Juice did not appear to have it early either. It seems like the news was late. That's why my feeling is the cancels are wacky. It's very hard to it's very hard to absolutely make a determination on the cancel rules. I think that there has to be more flexibility, so I'm going to continue discussing it because I had to do what I did because I need to show him I don't see certainly not a big enough move there for a reversal. If it gets to the PP or it gets to the low of the day, a half hour from now, you might want to take a trade there. Anybody have any questions? So I've got to you can understand my level of frustration at times. One guy made $17 million. So I don't see any other questions. I don't have another trade for this. News was that we're seeing on a general basis, we are seeing the news just coming out slower. It's just coming out slower, and it's not coming out all together when there's multiple reports. Now, maybe it's going to change when the government has employees. In other words, I think that there were a lot of people fired over the past 4 years. There were a lot of people that, I don't want to get political, but there were a lot of people that were donors and shouldn't have been in their jobs. So, whether you like Biden or not, I'm not saying I like Biden or I don't like Biden. He's more of a normal politician, so we'll get more normal type people at the jobs that might relate to releasing news. You follow me? That's my point. Not a political point, just that we may get more normalcy in the things that haven't been as normal prior. So we'll see. Honestly, I don't know what the answer is. But that's a theory that maybe we'll start to see the news release a little bit more normally. Okay. So folks, we'll be back at 9:30. We'll look at some videos on new homes. I think that there's no question that we're seeing gold trade better. That's something that I do believe. Gold is trading better, more manageably, okay? Now, the gold open this morning was at 820. It was pretty... There's always a candle. In other words, that was the gold open this morning. It's been better.
Coming up, who is getting hit the hardest in the surge of GameStop shares? We've got that story for you when Squawkbox returns.
So anyway, we'll talk more. I'd love to see you all do a little more talking in the room. I would like it. So, bring your talking in. Bring your talking points in. Let's get a little more back and forth going in the room. That's what I'd like to see. Don't be afraid to express your opinion. Let's stay away from politics as much as possible because people get too angry. I don't get angry, but people do. That's why we want to stay away from politics. But I'd like to see more back and forth on what you think. Not much to talk about these days. Yeah, no, I know what you mean, Mark. Vaccine. I think I would love people to just feel safer.
That must be won. Plus, new players get a 100% deposit match up to $100.
All right, I'll be back, folks, at 9:30. Okay. So of course I'm frustrated because I could have made money with a proper cancel. But what is a proper cancel, right? What is a proper cancel? Let me just show you something real quick. All right, let me show you what I'm talking about. And tell me your opinion. Let's get some talking here before you go. What's your opinion? Let me show you the trade. Let me show you the trade. So we had advanced GDP. It comes out clearly late, right? You had Thursday claims and you had wholesale inventories and retail inventories. Okay, and those are reports. That can have impact because we've been looking at them. So let me show you something real quick. Bear with me. Let me see if I can easily find the video. I can. So I want your opinion. What's your opinion? Look at the way the news came out. Would you have waited till you knew advanced GDP came out, or at least the jobless numbers? So look, our orders were on the chart before. The only thing that came out was goods trade balance and the retail inventories, and it had no impact, okay? Because in this case, today, the market's looking at advanced GDP and the jobless numbers. That's what the markets are looking at. So even still, 8:30, 30 seconds, the news hasn't come out. And we would have had, the trade would be over for me. Right about now, I'd be getting out, right? I would have moved my stop. I would have probably gotten out or moved my stop to break even because I would have been profitable and the news hadn't come out. So that would make me uncomfortable. In this particular case, it took too long, okay? If the news is like 3 or 4 or 5, 10 seconds, then I'm in favor of a longer cancellation. When it's really extended, like it was today, look, it was over a minute, and advanced GDP still hadn't come out. The market had already changed direction. You already had a squeeze signal, you know. I have to fix my squeeze on my other chart. My colors are up.
How money flows in and out of the market and where it flows, and institutions and.
But anyway, I think you get my point. The cancellation issue is a big point. It's a big point. In this case, cancellation cost me. I don't know if did anybody trade? Anybody trade this report? I'm not seeing that anyone did. All right, listen, we'll be back at 9:30, okay? I'll see everybody back here at 9:30. Sanjay, you canceled too. It's very difficult when the news doesn't come out for more than a minute. But my gut feeling is we might want to go. This is just a gut feeling, anecdotal, not any testing. 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds on cancels. Mark, you canceled too. I mean, it was ultra long. It was an ultra long release. So, okay. Anyway, so I'll see everybody at 9:30. Okay, I'll see everybody at 9:30. I'll see you in a little bit. Take care, folks.